Judge D. Drell and Attorney John A. Broadwell for out-and-out lies, distortions of facts, and malfeasance in office. On page 33 of his decision, Judge Drell states, plaintiff submitted the affidavit to Megan Donovan of Burgess and Evans, LLC, which was not received into evidence. That is not the truth. That document was received into evidence. I had it written down. Okay, the docket numbers are, the page ID numbers are page ID 4401, page ID 4402, and page ID 4403. I'll put them on the side for you. Okay, and I'm going to read from that, the most critical part of that. It's on page 3. Dr. Shivani Nagy applied for Florida licensure on 3/20/2003 and subsequently withdrew her license application on 6/8/2006. This woman swore in court that she testified, and she testified that she sent a letter of withdrawal in 2003. Yet Florida own documents state that she did not withdraw her application until 2006, 3 years after. She only had a 14-day time period to put that letter in. Okay, the admissions of perjury and alteration of medical records before Judge Drell. Dr. Nagy admitted altering medical records at Maryland General and admitted lying before the committee when asked about altering the records. She admits she perjured herself in front of the court reporter under sworn testimony in Florida, withholding the information about at Maryland. On page 34 of his finding, Judge Drell admits Dr. Nagy had lied under oath before the committee. I'm quoting his words. Dr. Nagy had lied under oath before the committee and found her guilty of making deceptive representations related to the practice of medicine and of misrepresenting or concealing material fact during the licensing process in violation of Florida codes. In front of Judge Drell, she also admitted that she didn't tell Virginia the following. 1, she did not tell Virginia that Florida intended to withdraw her license. 2, she did not tell that Florida found her guilty of violating 2 state statutes. 3, she did not answer question 7. Question 7 was regarding her ever been before the licensing board and being denied. She also did not answer. She lied on question 8, stating that she had not. The question 8 was, have you ever violated any state, federal, or local statutes? She stated no, and in testimony she admitted that she did. That Florida found her guilty of violating 2 statutes. She also read into court a sworn statement that she had to fill out in Virginia, and the statement said that she told Virginia the whole truth completely without reservation of any kind, and declared under penalty of perjury that all my statements are true and correct. She also read if any testimony was false, that this was grounds for revocation of license. Her whole testimony, deliberate acts of Attorney Broadwell. Attorney Broadwell requested a Daubert hearing on Dr. Belva Bowles, stating she had never testified in either state or federal court as an expert witness. He then came back into this very court and tried to impeach her on the testimony that she stated she had never ever testified in Louisiana about. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say she never testified, then come into court and try to rebuke her because of the testimony that she did present in court. Okay, he knows that he has been defending a physician who lied to get the very license she is operating under today. The court action. Magistrate Judge Court sent a letter to the Louisiana Medical Board requesting a hearing regarding Dr. Bowles' testimony. Attorney Broadwell traveled to the board and tried to get Dr. Bowles' license revoked, and at the same time, he was knowingly protecting Dr. Nagy, who had admitted perjury on 3 occasions. The board refused to take Dr. Bowles' license. He did not say that another expert had the same opinion as Dr. Bowles. He did not bring that information before them. Dr. Nagy's perjured testimony in this case. Dr. Nagy testified she put in a letter to withdraw in late September. She was asked if she needed to check anything to ensure this date and stated no. She stated that the federal board the Florida board told her she would most likely be denied or could withdraw. She also testified that Florida told her that she could take no action until she was officially notified. After being shown a certified return receipt U.S. Post with her signature dated November the 7th, 2003, she had to admit that she had lied earlier, stating that she put in that letter in late September. This was approximately 54 days after the hearing, and she only had 14 days for the letter to withdraw. They have been trying to get away with saying she put in a letter to withdraw and going against Florida's own records, which proved that she never did. If she withdrew in 2003, why did she again put in a letter to withdraw in 2006? It doesn't make sense. The VA Alexandria's participation in the cover-up. On 11/18 of 2013, docket 275, Judge Drell was sent a copy of an envelope from Alex VA dated 6/19/13 with a letter from Sharonda Lockwood dated 6/18/13, forwarding Mr. Hamilton's progress notes from the VA's own neurologist, Dr. Shaw, that proved Mr. Hamilton Jr. suffered a new stroke. This test was done on 6/25/06, shortly after he was taken out of ICU by Dr. Nagy on 2/24/06. This note was not entered until October the 3rd of 2006 and was not sent to Mr. Hamilton until 5 days after the trial. If your own neurologist found that the day after this doctor took you out of ICU, you suffered a new stroke, then why is it you don't put the progress notes in for a whole month? Mm-hmm. Why do you wait until after the trial is over before you send his son a copy of the document that your own neurologist take that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he suffered from the result of her, as a result of her action? Okay, now further cover up. And on 6/2/2009, VA Hospital Alexandria sent a cover sheet faxed urgent. A letter was also sent, signed by Ms. Carleen Kimball, with the following statement. Dr. Shivani Nagy has applied for appointment at the VA Medical Center. I want you to please remember that Dr. Nagy had been working at the VA hospital since 2004. So if they are sending a letter to try to get her credentialed as a new employee in 2009, the whole document is a farce. Along with that was a release of information signed by Dr. Nagy on the same date. So, you know, you can't have it both ways. Now, just like this court tried to revoke the license of Dr. Bowles because they didn't think that her credentials were proper, this court, this judge, whenever a physician admits that she committed perjury on 3 prior occasions and commits perjury again, and he sent evidence that she perjured herself, he not only has a right, he has an obligation to forward that over to a prosecutor. In this case, the prosecutor would be this same attorney, Attorney Broadwell. This is a direct conflict of interest. Nothing has ever been done. This court is a farce. There is no justice here. We've been in touch with Reverend Al Sharpton's man, presidents here in the state, and I'd like whoever is their spokesperson to come forward, please.
Just for the record, y'all state your name.
Douglas Bellard, President of National Network, Brazil chapter.
Mayor, Vice President, National.
All right.
Linda Logan, President of Mohawk Parish Chapter of National Network.
Joe Law, National Action Network.
Go right.
We are here on behalf of the Louisiana Veteran Advocacy Group. We are here in support of them because we have looked at the evidence, we have reviewed the transcript, and we have found evidence that this is a case that needs to be looked into, a case that needs to be brought to the attention of the public, because we cannot afford to sit back and let these things continue to happen and do nothing. We are seeking justice in this case. We're seeking justice for the families that has been victimized by this position. Because not only are those families have suffered, the other families that over there may be suffering. And we need justice to be brought to this case.
We support everything that Logan just stated. And on behalf of the state, we are here to support his family. Not only here in Linux, but to get some congressional involvement to investigate the care and treatment that our veterans are receiving in this hospital, and to reflect on others, and probably are other deaths of neglect that has taken place. So we are beginning an investigation, and we hope and pray that some positiveness can come out of this investigation on the negative that took place and took this man's life.
So far, how many deaths is connected at the VA? So far, how many families have come forward?
To our knowledge, we have been informed that if it's 7.
7 families come forward. Okay.
So all we try to do is to motivate others who have the same type stories and have not come out. And so we're soliciting assistance from persons who have individuals in the VA hospital here in Alexandria to come forth so we can stop this type of negligence, medical negligence, that's taking place on behalf of our fallen comrades. All right. Thank you.
As the story says, an old saying, Houston, we have a problem. The saying is today, Alexandria, we have a problem. 7 murders here in Alexandria, and nothing is being done about it. People that fought for our life, our country. Shame. As Ms. Logan said, the proof is in the pudding. Do something about it.
Hello, Miss Logan.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
For the record, go ahead.
For the record,
Go ahead.
Emil Jones, president of the Alexandria branch of the NAACP. We're here to stand with our brothers and families who have lost loved ones to this very serious tragedy. It's unfortunate that the courts were on the wrong side, and history will bear that out, and I hope that this fight will continue to go on. We come to stand with those to ensure that their civil rights are protected, and also to send a message that this has been a serious miscarriage of justice, and that this case will not be settled until justice is satisfied from on high. Thank you.
Okay, please, sir. This, her husband, she has a picture of her husband. In 2009, when we opened this up, her husband was not mistreated until 2011. So had this court done properly, he would still be alive today. I'll let her tell you what happened, and I'm going to be across with KTC. If you meet me over there, go ahead and tell him what happened to your husband.
Tell us what happened. What is your name first?
My name is Tammy Freeman. My husband was Warren Freeman. He was full of life. Very good man who served his country. My husband was in the VA Medical Center. I received a phone call that he was in the ER. Whenever I got there, I was told that he had passed away. My husband was he was cold as ice, and rigor mortis had already set in. My husband had been dead for hours. I had received a call a few months later. I had received 2 letters from 2 nurses and a doctor telling me that this doctor had killed my husband. And this is what the letters say. They was telling me all the neglect that she had did to save my husband. She didn't even try to save my husband. She just let my husband die. And in so many ways that she did so many things at the hospital during him dying. She could have been saving him. It just breaks my heart to know that she's still there. She's still hurting people. You know, people are suffering because of this woman. She shouldn't be here. You know, I can't believe God is letting this happen. You know, I guess everything happens for a reason. You know, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. God is good. Okay, God is good. And I just gotta have faith in the Lord. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Yes, my husband's name was Jesse Floyd Jr. My husband passed away February 26th of last year. When my husband first met Miss Nagan, Dr. Nagan, he went in for chest pains. Well, another doctor had prescribed him aspirin. He was on the aspirin regimen. When he started being treated by Dr. Nagan, she removed the aspirin. This caused him to have blood clots in his lungs. I had to rush him to the emergency room. I wouldn't take him back over there because he had been in the hospital for 17 days and nothing had ever been done. So when I took him over to Labbe's General, they found he had a mass on his spine the size of a fist. She never diagnosed him. When she left out the room before his discharge, she said, "You may have cancer." And she left it like that. And we never heard anything else from her. And my husband passed away last year of cancer.
What is your name again?
Mary Ann. My husband's name was Jesse Gray. I'm Mary Ann Gray.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
For the record, could you
Floyd Hamilton III. My father was Floyd Hamilton Jr. This is a result of where I found my father in a storage room where they store IV stands. They belittled me because I said a closet. But it's pretty hard to get 26 IV stands in a closet too. Okay. He was in a room on an entire wing by himself. She told me he was 84 years old and had lived long enough. And when I left on a Saturday to come back, she had taken him out. I stayed at the VA.
Who?
Dr. Shivani Nagin.
Okay.
I stayed at the VA about 9:45, paging her to come to ICU. She still didn't come to ICU, and it was 6:15 in the evening. ICU paged her all day long. She never would come. After she did what she did, she would want to show up to face you. And if you disagree with her, that's what she does, run off and hide. Then put in the records, "Oh, I tried to call her, but no answer." So when you're there all day, and she's the doctor on call, she never shows up. So where is she? In fact, if you notice in the records, in the court records, she was penalized and put on probation because in her records, she put in the record, "Don't call me until the patient is dead." And she had to answer to that in this court. Now, this is the kind of doctor that the VA is hired. She said, "Well, I had a frustrated day that day, so I crossed it out, therefore it wasn't an order." Well, Dr. St. Cyr applied an order for my father to remain intubated until the following Thursday. Now, he didn't cross it out, therefore it's an order. He's met with the family on Friday. This is the medical game plan for my father. Saturday morning she comes in, pulls everything that he needs to sustain life. Oxygen, heart monitor, oxygen monitor. How you gonna know what the oxygen is if you don't have a monitor? So I found my father on Sunday evening on an entire wing by himself. Nobody else had seen him for 5 hours. And I found him suffocating on his own fluids. I didn't even recognize. I passed the room, and some say, go back, that's your dad. His jaws are so big and his stomach's going so big trying to get oxygen, I didn't even recognize him. But this is the way that the VA, and this was early on in 2006. I started this in 2006. My father remained in ICU for 2.5 years with brain damage. I refused to, and each time she wanted to put him in a nursing home after she did this to him. And I refused to do it, fought every day, 2 and 3 times a day, to the point that the VA started filming me coming in. If VA employees talked to me, they would come to tell me that their supervisor asked what were they talking to me about, because they were filming me as I was moving through the VA. After she had done what she did, but she don't have a camera on her.
Okay,
My mom.
all right. Hello. Yes, ma'am. Just for the record, could you state your name and how you associated with what is happening here today?
My name is Bertha May Hamilton. Floyd Hamilton III is my son, and Floyd Hamilton Jr. was my husband. We visited the VA hospital for 3 years with my husband every night.
Okay. And one of the main, let me ask you this, one of the main reasons you're here today is to try to bring to the public attention of what went on so that this thing doesn't continue, right?
Yes, sir. It does not need to continue. Because injustice was done to my husband. She removed the tumor, and that is he laid there for 2 years.
Okay.
Brain damage.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.